Howdy, all. Swan Marion, the bookworm cowboy, here at Haven Humane. And I'm going to read some more of The Color Purple by Alice Walker to this little one named April. Say hi, April. She's a little scared, but I'll make sure she'll be all right. Dear Nettie, the only piece of mail Mister ever put directly in my hand is a telegram that comes from the United States Department of Defense. It says the ship you and the children and your husband left Africa and was sunk by German mines off the coast of some place called Gibraltar. They think you all drowned. Plus, the same day, all the letters I wrote to you over the years come back unopened. Sit here in this big house by myself trying to sew. What good is sewing gonna do? What good is anything? Being alive began to seem like an awful stain. Your sister, Celie. Dearest Celie, Cassie and her mother have run away. They have gone to join the Mabels. Samuel and the children and I were discussing it just yesterday. And we realized we do not even know for sure the Mabels exist. All we know is that they are said to live deep in the forest, that they welcome runaways, that they harass the white man's plantations and plan its destruction, or at least for its removal from their continent. Adam and Olivia are heartbroken because they love Tashi and miss her. Because no one who has gone to join the Mabels ever returned. We try to keep them busy around the compound, and because there is so much sickness from malaria this season, there's plenty for them to do. And plowing under the Olinka's yam crop and substituting canned and powdered goods. The plant is a story of what makes them resistant to malaria. Of course, they do not know this. They only wanted to take the land for rubber. But the Olinka have been eating yams to prevent malaria and to control chronic blood disease for thousands and thousands of years. That's without a sufficient supply of yams. People, what's left of them, are sickening and dying at an alarming rate. To tell you the truth, I fear for our own health, especially for the children. But Samuel feels we will probably be all right. Having had bouts with malaria during the first years we were here. And how are you, dear sister? Nearly 30 years have passed and without a word between us. Oh, I know you may be dead. At the time nearest for us to come home, Adam and Olivia ask endless questions about you, few of which I can answer. Sometimes I tell them, Tashi reminds me of you, and because there is no one finer to them than Tashi, they glow with delight. But will you still have Tashi's honest and open spirit? I wonder, when we see you again? Or will years of childbearing and abuse from Mister have destroyed you? These are thoughts I don't pursue with the children, only with my beloved companions. Samuel, who advises me not to worry, to trust in God, and to have faith in the sturdiness of my sister's soul. God is different to us now. After all these years in Africa, more spirit than ever before, and more internal. Most people think he has to look like something or someone, a roofie for Christ, but we don't. Not being tied to what God looks like frees us. When we return to America, we must have long talks about this, Celie. Perhaps Samuel and I will found a new church in our community that has no idols in it whatsoever, in which each person's spirit is encouraged to seek God directly. This belief that this is possible strengthened us by us as people who so believe. There's little to do here, entertainment as you can imagine. We read the papers and magazines from home, play by number of African games with the children, rehearse the African children parts of Shakespeare's plays. Adam was always good at as Hamlet, giving us to be or not to be. The little tree. Corinne has had firm notions of what the children should be taught, and saw to it that every good work advertised in the papers became part of their library. They know so many things that I think we will not find American society such a stock, except for the hatred of black people. It is also very clear in all the music. I worry about their very African independence of opinion and outspokenness. Also extreme self-centeredness. That we will be poor, Celie, and it will be years, no doubt, before we even own a home. How will they manage the hostility towards them, having grown up here? When I think of them in America, I see them as much younger than they appear here, much more naive. The worst we have had to endure here is indifferent and a certain understandable shallowness in our personal relationships. Excluding our relationship with Catherine and Tashi. After all, the Olinka know we can leave. They must stay. And of course, none of this has to do with color and dearest Celie. Last night I stopped writing because Olivia came in to tell me Adam is missing. He can only have gone after Tashi. Pray for his safety. Your sister, Nettie. Dearest Nettie. Sometimes I think she'll never love me. I stand looking at my naked self in the looking glass. What would she love? Past myself. Ask myself. My hair is short and kinky because I don't straighten it anymore. Once Shug say she love it, no need to. My skin dark, my nose just a nose, my lips just lips. My body asks any woman's body going through the changes of age. Nothing special here for nobody to love. No honey-colored curly hair, no cuteness, nothing young and fresh. My heart must be young and fresh though. It feels like it's blooming yet good. I talk to myself a lot, standing in front of the mirror. Celie say, happiness was just a trick in your case. Just because you never had any before, Shug. You thought it was time to have the home, and that it was gone last. You even thought you had the trees with you, the whole earth, the stars, but look at you when Shug left, happiness dessert. Every once in a while I get a postcard from Shug, her and Jermaine in New York and California, gone to see Mary Agnes and Grady in Panama. Esther seemed to be the only one to understand my feeling. I know you hate me from keeping you from. I know I hate you from keeping you from Nettie, say, and now she did. But I don't hate him, Nettie. I don't believe you dig it. How can you be dead if I still feel you? Maybe like God, you changed.
Do you know if the guy in the lobby is he waiting on formula?
Into something different.
That's what I was doing.
Cool. I was curious
That I'll.
if he needed something other than formula.
That I'll
I need a toy for the kitty cat.
have to speak to in a different way. But you're not dead to me, Nettie, and never will be. Sometimes when I get tired of talking to myself, I talk to you. I even try to reach our children. Mister still can't believe I have children. Where do you get children from, he asked. My stepdaddy, I say. You mean he knowed he was the one who damaged you all along? Mr. asked. I say, yeah. Mr. shake his head. After all the evil he done, I know you wonder why I don't hate him. I don't hate him for two reasons. One, he loves Suge, and two, Suge used to love him. Does look like he's trying to make something out of himself. I don't mean just that he worked and he cleaned up after himself, and he appreciates some of the things God was faithful enough to make. I mean, when you talk to him now, he really listens. One time out of nowhere, in the conversation us was having, he and Celia, I'm satisfied that this is the first time I've ever lived on earth as a natural man. He said, Celia, I'm satisfied this the first time I ever lived on earth as a natural man. It feels like a new experience. Sophia and Harpo always tried to set me up with some man. They know I love Shug, but they think women's love just by accident. Anybody handy likely to do. Every time I go to Harpo, some little policy salesman get all up in my face. This has to come to the rescue. You tell the man, this lady my wife. The man vanished out the door. Us see it, have a cold drink, talk about our days together with Shug, talk about the time she came home sick, the little songs she used to sing, all our fine evenings down at Harpo's. You was doing good way back then, he said. I remember the nice little dresses Shug always wear. Yeah, I said. Shug could wear a dress. Remember that the night Sophia knocked Mary Agnes's tooth out? Yes. Who could forget it, I say. Us don't say nothing about Sophia's troubles. Us still can't laugh at it. Plus, Sophia still have trouble with that family. Well, trouble with Miss Eleanor Jane. You just don't know, say Sophia, what that girl done put me through. You know how she used to bother me all the time when she had problems at home? Well, finally she started bothering me when anything good happened. Soon as she snagged that man she married, she come running to me. Oh, Sophia, she say, you just have to meet Stanley Earl. And before I can say anything, Stanley Earl is in the middle of my front room. How you, Sophia, he say, grinning and sticking out his hand. Miss Eleanor Jane done told me so much about you. Whenever she told him that they make me sleep under their house, say Sophia. But I don't ask. I try to be polite, act pleasant. Henrietta turned the radio up loud in the back room. I have to almost holler to make myself understood. They stand around looking at the children's pictures on the wall and saying, how good my boys look in their army uniforms. Where are they fighting? Stanley Earl wants to know. They in the service right here in Georgia, I say. But pretty soon they'd be bound for overseas. He asked me, do I know which part of they can be stationed in? France, Germany, or the Pacific? I don't know where none of that is, so I say, nah. He say he wants to fight, but got to stay home and run his daddy's cotton gin. Army got to wear clothes, he say, if they fighting in Europe. Too bad they not fighting in Africa. He laughed. Miss Eleanor Jane smiled. Henrietta turned the dial high as it can go. Gone some real sorry white folks music sounds like I don't know what. Stanley Earl snapped his fingers and tried to tap one of his good-sized foots. He got a long head that goes straight up and hair cut so short it looked fuzzy. His eyes real bright blue and never hardly blink. Good God, I think. Sophia raised me, practically say Miss Eleanor Jane. Don't know what we would have done without her. Well, say Stanley Earl, everybody around here raised by colors. That's how come we turn out so well. He wink at me, say, well, it's a goodbye to Miss Eleanor Jane. Time for us to mosey along. She leaped up like somebody stuck her with a pin. How Henrietta doing? She asked. Then she whispered, I brought her something with yam so well hid she won't even suspect. She went out to the car and come back with a tuna casserole. Well, say Sophia, one thing you have to say for Miss Eleanor Jane, the dishes almost always full, Henrietta. That means lots to me. Of course, I don't tell Henrietta where they come from. If I did, out the window they would go. Else she'd vomit like it made her sick. But finally, the end had come to Sophia and Miss Eleanor Jane, I think. It wasn't nothing to do with Henrietta, who hated Miss Eleanor Jane's guts. It was Miss Eleanor Jane herself and that baby she went and had. Every time Sophia turned around, Miss Eleanor Jane was shoving Reynolds Stanley Earl in her place. You little fat white something without much hair, looked like he headed for the Navy. Ain't the Reynolds fleet? Say Miss Eleanor Jane to Sophia. Daddy just love him, she say. Love having a grandchild named after him and look so much like him too. Sophia don't say nothing, stand there ironing some of Susie and Henrietta's clothes. And so smart, she say, Eleanor Jane. Daddy say he never saw a smarter baby. Stanley Earl's mama say he was smarter than Stanley Earl was when he was this age. Sophia still don't say nothing. Finally, Eleanor Jane noticed. You know, some white folks won't let well enough alone. If they want to bad enough, they gonna harass a blessing from you if it kill. Sophia mighty quiet this morning, Miss Eleanor Jane say. Like she just talking to Reynolds Stanley. He stared back at her out of his big stuck open eyes. Does he think he's sweet, he asked again. He's sure of that, say Sophia, turning over the dress she ironing. And he's sweet too, say Miss Eleanor Jane. Just as plump as he can be, say Sophia. And tall. But he's sweet too, say Eleanor Jane. And he's smart. I'll kiss him upside the head. You rub his head, say, yee. Ain't he the smartest baby you ever saw? She asked Sophia. He got a nice head on him, say Sophia. You know, some people place a lot of weight on head size, not a whole lot of hair on it either. He's gonna be cool this summer, for sure. She held a piece of iron and put it on the chair. Just a sweet, smart, cute, innocent little baby boy, say Miss Eleanor Jane. Don't you just love him? She asked Sophia point blank. Sophia sighed. She put down her iron. Staring Miss Eleanor Jane and Reynolds Stanley. All the time, me and Henrietta over in the corner playing pity pat. Henrietta act like Miss Eleanor Jane ain't alive, but both of us hear the way the iron sound when Sophia put it down. Sound have a lot of old and new stuff in it. No, ma'am, say Sophia. I do not love Reynolds Stanley Earl. Now that's what you've been trying to find out ever since he was born, and now you know. Me and Henrietta look up. Miss Eleanor Jane just that quick done, but put Reynolds Stanley on the floor, where he was crawling around, knocking stuff over. Head straight for Sophia's stack of iron clothes and pull it down on his head. Sophia take up the clothes, straighten them out, stand by the ironing board with her hand on the iron. Sophia the kind of woman, no matter what she had in her hand, it looked like a weapon. And Eleanor Jane started to cry. She always felt something for Sophia. If not for her, Sophia never would have survived living in her daddy's house. But so what? Sophia never wanted to be there in the first place. Never wanted to leave her own children. Too late to cry, Miss Eleanor Jane, say Sophia. All I can do now is laugh. Look at him, she say, and she do laugh. He can walk and already be in my house messing it up. Did I ask him to come? Do I care whether he's sweet or not? Would it make any difference in the way he grew up to treat me? Is that what I think? You just don't like him because he looks like Daddy, let's say Miss Eleanor Jane. You don't like him because he looks like Daddy, say Sophia. I don't feel nothing about him at all. I don't love him. I don't hate him. I just wish he couldn't run loose all the time, messing up folks' stuff. All the time, say Miss Ellen Jane. Sophia, he's just a baby, not even a year old. He only been here 5 or 6 times. Feel like he been here forever, say Sophia. I just don't understand, say Miss Ellen Jane. All the other women I know love children, where you feel is something unnatural. I love children, say Sophia. But all the colored women that say they love yours is lying. They don't love Reynolds Stanley any more than I do. But if you so badly raised as to ask them, what do you expect them to say? Some colored people are so scared of white folks they claim to love cotton gin. He's just a little baby, say Jane. Like saying, this is supposed to clear up everything. What do you want from me? Say Sophia. Do something for you because out of all the people in your daddy's house, you showed me some human kindness. On the other hand, out of all the people in your daddy's house, I showed you some. And feeling is all I have to offer you. I don't have nothing to offer your relatives, but just what they offer me. I don't have nothing to offer him. Reynolds Stanley, by this time, is over on Henrietta's pallet. Looked like he's trying to rape her foot. Now he's like the chewer. And then I reach up on his son, hand him a packer. I feel like you the only person who loved me, say Miss Eleanor Jane. Mama only loved Junior, she said, because that's who Daddy finally loved. Well, say Sophia, you got your own husband to love you now. Look like he don't love nothing but that cotton gin, she say. 10 o'clock at night, he's still down there working. When he not working, he playing poker with the boys. Rather see a lot more of Stanley Earl than I do. Maybe you ought to leave him, say Sophia. You got kin in Atlanta. Go and stay with some of them. Get a job. Miss Ellen Jane tossed her hair back, act like she don't ever even hear this. It's such a wild notion. I got my own trouble, say Sophia, and when Reynolds Stanley grows up, he's gonna be one of them. But he won't, say Jane. I'm his mama, and I won't let him be mean to colored. You and whose army, say Sophia. First word he likely to speak won't be nothing he learned from you. You telling me I won't be able to love my own son? Say Miss Eleanor Jane. No, say Sophia. That's not what I'm telling you. Telling you I won't be able to love your own son. You can love him just as much as you want, but be ready to suffer the consequences. That's how the colored live. Little Stanley, Reynolds Stanley, all up on Henrietta's face by now, slobbering and sucking, trying to kiss. And he's thinking, I think she's gonna knock him silly. She lay real still while he examined her. Every once in a while, he act like he's peeking into her eyeball. Then he sit down with a bounce on top of her chest and grin. He take one of her playing cards and try to give her a bite out of it. Sophia come over and lift him off. He not bother me, says Henrietta. He make you tickle. He bother me, says Sophia. Well, Miss Ellen Jane say to the baby, picking him up. He not wanted here. She said real sad, like she done run out of places to go. Thank you for all you've done for us, says Sophia. She don't look so good herself, and a little water stand in her eyes. After Miss Eleanor Jane and Reynolds Stanley leave, she say, times like this make me want to know us to make this world. All the colored black folks talking about loving everybody just ain't looked hard at what they thought they saw. So what else new? Well, your sister too crazy to kill herself. Most times I feel like shit. So I felt like shit before in my life, and what happened? I had me a fine sister named Nettie. I had me another one fine woman friend named Shug. I had me some fine children growing up in Africa, singing and writing verses. First 2 months was hell though. I tell the world. But now Shug's 6 months has come and gone, and she ain't come back. Tried to teach my heart not to want nothing that can't heal. Besides, she gave me so many good years. Plus, she learning new things in her life, in her new life. Now she and Jermaine staying with one of her children. Dear Celie, she wrote me, me and Jermaine ended up in Tucson, Arizona, where one of my children lived. The other two alive and turned out well, but they didn't want to see me. Somebody told them I lives an evil life. This one said he want to see his mama no matter what. He live in a little mud-looking house like they have out here, called adobe. So you know I feels right at home. Smile. He is school teacher too and work on the Indian reservation. They call him the black white man. They have a word that means that too, and it really bothered him. Even he tried to tell them how he feels. They don't seem to care. They so far gone, nothing strangers say, nothing strangers say mean nothing. Everybody now an Indian they got no use for. Hate to see his feelings hurt, but that's life. It was Jermaine who had the idea to look up my children. You notice how I always loved dressing him up and playing with his hair? He didn't make it a mean suggestion. He just said, if I know how my children was doing, I would probably feel better in my life. The son we staying with is named James. His wife is named Cora May. They have two kids named Davis and Cantrell. He said he thought something was funny about his mama, my mama. Because he and Big Daddy was so old and strict and set in their ways. Until he felt a lot of love for them, he say. Yes, son, I tell him. They had a lot of love to give. I needed love plus understanding. They weren't a little short of that. They've been dead now, he say. 9 or 10 years. Sent us all to school as far as they could. I never think about Mama and Daddy. You know how tough I think I is? But now that they did, I see my children doing well. I like to think about them. Maybe when I come back, I can put some flowers on their grave. Oh, she write me now near about every week. Long newsy letters. Full of stuff she thought she had forgotten. Plus stuff about the desert and the Indians and the Rocky Mountains. Wish I could be traveling with her, but thank God she's able to do it. Sometimes I feel mad at her. Feel like I could scratch her hair right off her head. But then I think she's got a right to live too. She got a right to look over the world in whatever company she chooses. Just because I love her, don't take away none of her rights. The only thing bother me is she don't never say nothing about coming back. And I miss her. I miss her friendship so much that if she wanted to come back here at Dragon Jermaine and make them both welcome or die trying, who am I to tell her who to love? My job just to love her good and true myself. Mister asked me the other day what it is I love so much about Shug. He say he loves her style. He say to tell the truth, Shug act more manly than most men. I mean, she upright, honest, speak her mind, and the devil take the hindmost, she say. He say, Shug will fight. He say, just like Sophia. She bound to live her life and be herself no matter what. Just think all this stuff men do. Papa not like this, I tell him. You not like this. What you got is womanly, it seemed like to me, especially since she and Sophia are the ones got it. Sophia and Shug not like men, but they not like women either. You mean they not like you or me? They held their own, he say, and it's different. What I love best about Shug is what she been through, I say. When you look in Shug's eyes, you know she's been where she been. Seen what she seen, did what she did. Now she know. That's the truth, say mister. And if you don't get out of the way, she'll tell you about it. Amen, he say. Then he says something that really surprised me, because it's so thoughtful and common sense. When it comes to what folks do together with their bodies, he say, anybody's guess is as good as mine. When you talk about love, I don't have to guess. I have love and I have been loved, and I thank God he let me gain understanding enough to know love can't be halted just because some people moan and groan. It don't surprise me you love Suge Avery, he said. I have loved Suge Avery all my life. What load of bricks fell on you? I asked. No bricks, he said, just experience. You know, everybody's bound to get some of that sooner or later. All they have to do is stay alive. And I started to get mine real heavy long about the time I told Suge it was true that I beat you because you was you and not her. I told her, I say. I know it, he said. I don't blame you. If you could tell folks how it's treated, it would. You know, some women would have just loved to hear their men say he beat his wife just because she wasn't thin. Suge one time was like that about Annie Julia. Both of us messed over my first wife, a scandalous. And she never told nobody. Plus, she didn't have nobody to tell. After they married her off to me, her folks behaved like they'd thrown her out as well. We're off the face of the earth. I didn't want her. I wanted Suge. But my daddy was the boss. He gave me the wife he wanted me to have. But Suge spoke right up for you, Celie. He say. She say, Albert, you've been mistreating somebody I love. So as far as you're concerned, I'm gone. I couldn't believe it, he say. All along in there, we was as hot for each other as two pistols. Excuse me, he say, but we was. I tried to laugh it off, but she meant what she said. I tried to tease her. You don't love dumb old Celie, I said. She ugly and skinny and can't hold a candle to you. She can't even screw. What I want to say from what she tell me, Suge say, she don't have no reason to screw. You on and off like a jackrabbit. Plus she say, you're not always clean, and she turned up her nose. I wanted to kill you, said Mister. I did slap you around a couple of times. I never understood how you and Suge got along so well together, and it bothered me, the hell out of me. When she was mean and nasty to you, I understood. But when I looked around and the two of you was always doing each other's hair, I stopped the word. She still feel for you, I say. Yeah, he say. She feel like I'm her brother. What's so bad about them? I asked. Don't your brothers love her? Them clowns, he say. They feel like the fool I used to be. Well, I say, we all have to start somewhere if us want to do better, and our own self is what us have to hand. I'm real sorry she left you, Celie. I remember how I felt when she left me. Then the old devil put his arms around me and just stood there on the porch with me real quiet. Way after a while, I bent my stiff neck onto his shoulder. Here us is, I thought, two old fools left over from love, keeping each other company under the stars. Other times he wanted to know about my children. I told him, you say they both wear long robes, sort of like dresses. That was the day he come to ask me while I was sewing, and asked me what was so special about my pants. Anybody can wear them, I said. Men and women not supposed to wear the same thing, he said. Men are supposed to wear the pants. So I said, I ought to tell you that to the men in Africa. Say, what? He asked. First time he ever thought about what Africans do. People in Africa try to wear what feels comfortable in the heat, I say. Of course, missionaries have their own ideas about dress. But left to themselves, Africans wear a little sometimes, or a lot, according to Nettie. But men and women both appreciate a nice dress. Robe, he said before, he said. Robe, dress, not pants anyhow. Well, he said, I'll be a dog. And men sew in Africa too, I say. They do? He asked. Yeah, I say. They're not so backwards as men's here. When I was growing up, he say, I used to try to sew along with Mama because that's what she was always doing. But everybody laughed at me, but you know, I liked it. Well, nobody gonna laugh at you now, I said. Here, help me stitch in these pockets. But I don't know how, he say. I'll show you, I said, and I did. Now I sit sewing and talking and smoking our pipes. Guess what, I say to him. Folks in Africa, where Nettie and the children is believe white people is black people's children. Nah, he say, like this interesting, but his mind really on slant of his next stitch. They named Adam some other name as soon as he arrived. They say them white missionaries before Nettie and them come told them all about Adam from the white folks' point of view, what the white folks know. But they know who Adam is from their own point of view, and for a whole lot longer time ago. And who's that, Mr. asked. The first man that was white, not the first man. They say nobody's so crazy they think they can say who was the first man. But everybody knows the first white man because he was white. Mr. Frim. Look at the color thread of Scott. Thread his needle, lick his fingers, tie a knot. They say every before Adam was black. One say some women, they just right away come out with this color space. They thought at first it was something she ate, but then another one had one, and also the women start to have twins. The people start to put the white babies and the twins to death. So really, Adam wasn't even the first white man. He was just the first one the people didn't kill. Mister looked at me real thoughtful. He's not a bad looking man, when you come right down to it. And how it began to look like he got a lot of feeling behind his face. Will I say, black folks have what you call albinos to this day. But you never hear of white folks having nothing black, unless some black men been messing with him. The white folks been in Africa back yonder when all this happened. So these Olinka people heard of Adam and Eve from the white missionaries, and they heard about how the serpent tricked Eve, how God chased them out of the Garden of Eden. They was real curious to hear this, because after they had chased the white Olinka children out of the village, they couldn't hardly thought up no more of it. They say one thing about Africans: out of sight, out of mind, nothing. They don't like nothing around them that look or act different. They want everybody to be just alike. So somebody white wouldn't last long. She say some seem like to her the Africans throwed out the white Olinka people for how they look. They'll just out like the rest of us who become slaves for how us act. Seem like they just wouldn't do right no matter how us try. We know how Negroes is. Nobody's telling nothing even today. Can't be ruled. Every Negro you see got a kingdom in his head. Guess what else I say to Mister? When the missionaries got to the part about Adam and Eve being naked, the Linka people nearly burst out laughing. Especially when the missionaries tried to make them put on clothes because of this. Tried to explain to the missionaries that it was they who put Adam and Eve out of the village because they was naked. Their word for naked is white. But since they covered by color, they are not naked. They said anybody looking at a white person can tell they naked. The black people cannot be naked because they cannot be white. Yeah, said Mister, but they was wrong. Right, I said, Adam and Eve proved it. When they did, these Olinkas people was throw out their own children just because they was a little different. I bet they do the same kind of stuff today, Mr. Say. Oh, from what Nettie said, them Africans is a myth. And you know what the Bible says, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. And something else I say, guess who they say the snake is? Us, no doubt, say Mister. Right, I say, white folks signed for their parents. They was so mad to get thrown out and told us they was naked and made up their minds to crush us whenever they find us, seeing as they would a snake. You reckon, Mister asked? That's what these Olinka people say. They say just like they know history before the white children start to come. They know the future after the biggest of them to leave. They say they know these particular children, they gonna kill each other off. They still so mad about being unwanted. Gonna kill off a lot of other folk too who got some color. In fact, they gonna kill off so much of the earth and the color that everybody gonna hate them just like they hate us today. They say, then they will become a new serpent. And whenever a white person is found, he'll be crushed by someone not white, just like they do to us today. And some of the Inca peoples believe life will go on and on just like this forever. And every million years or so, something will happen to this earth, and folks will change the way they look. Folks might start growing two heads one of these days, for all I know. And then the folks with one head will send them all someplace else. But some of them don't think like this. They think after the biggest of the white folks no longer on the earth, when we stop making somebody the serpent for everybody is to accept everybody else as a child of God or the mother's children, no matter what they look like or how they act. Yeah, and guess what else about the snake? Wood, he says. These Inca people worship it. They say who knows, maybe it's the kinfolk, but for sure it's the smartest, cleanest, sickest thing they ever seen. These folks sure must have a heap of time just to sit and think, say mister. They say they really good at thinking, I say. But they think so much in terms of thousands of years, they have a hard time putting themselves through one. So what they name Adam? Sometimes something sound like a matangu, I say. You mean a naked man somewhere near the first one God made that knowed what he was. A whole lot of men that come before the first man was men, and none of them didn't know anything. You know how long it takes some men to notice anything, I say? Took me long enough to notice you was such good company, he say, and he laughed. He ain't sure, but he began to tell you somebody I can talk to. And no matter how much the telegram said he must be drowned, I still get letters from you. Your sister, Celie. And with that, we must end here.